Have you ever lived a double life? I don't mean being a superhero who fights crime at night. I mean, have you ever been the black sheep of the family, the failure, the one who drives a beat-up Honda to Christmas dinner just to listen to your parents lecture you about financial responsibility? But then, the moment you leave their driveway, you drive straight to a private airfield, hop in your own helicopter, and fly back to a 50 million penthouse in Manhattan? That has been my life for the past 15 years. My family, the prestigious Sterling dynasty, has always thought I was a broke digital artist, scraping by on useless computer pictures. They pitied me. They mocked me. My sister used to slip $20 bills into my pocket like I was a charity case. They had no idea that those useless pictures had turned me into one of the wealthiest women in the world under the age of 40. And tomorrow, at our annual family reunion, my carefully constructed facade is going to shatter into a million pieces. Not because I want it to, but because Forbes magazine decided to put my face on their cover with the headline, Alex Sterling, the 3.8 billion secret queen of the NFT world. Welcome to the most expensive I told you so in history. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get turbulent. I was sitting in my home office looking down at Central Park, which looked like a postage stamp from this height. The gold-embossed invitation to the Sterling family reunion sat on my glass desk. The Sterling family cordially invites you. Blah, blah, blah. My phone started buzzing. It was Chase, my perfect older brother. Listen, Chase, I answered, sounding bored. What the hell is going on, Alex? He screamed, skipping the hello. Business Insider just called me. They're asking for a comment about my billionaire sister. What kind of game are you playing? I leaned back in my Italian leather chair and smirked. I guess you'll just have to wait for the article to drop tomorrow. Cut the crap. Why have you been pretending to be broke for years? Mom and Dad have been sick with worry about you. Worry? I laughed, a dry, humorless sound. Is that what you call those lectures about getting a real job? Or the eye rolls every time I mentioned digital art? They weren't worried, Chase. They wanted control, just like they control you. Silence on the other end. Chase was the golden boy. Wharton Business School, MBA, straight into Dad's investment firm. He never deviated from the script. Just tell me one thing. His voice softened, trembling slightly. How long? How long have you been hiding this? I stood up and walked to the balcony, watching my private helicopter land on the building's helipad. One of 3 I owned, by the way. Remember when I moved into that shoebox studio apartment in Brooklyn, when you and Dad laughed at my computer doodles? That was 15 years ago, Chase calculated. Exactly. Everyone thought I was crazy. But what none of you knew was that I sold my first NFT collection for $50,000 that very first week. $50,000 that very first week. $50,000 that very first week. $50,000? Back then? Yep. And 6 months later, I made $200,000. By the time Dad was giving his Christmas speech about how I was wasting my potential, I had already made my first $1 million. I could practically hear the gears turning in Chase's head. But you asked Mom and Dad for rent money. You drove that piece of junk car until last year. I never borrowed money, Chase. I asked them to invest, and they refused, loudly. As for the Honda, that was a choice. Just like this penthouse is a choice. Just like the private jet waiting for me at the airport is a choice. Private jet? His voice cracked. Jesus, Alex. Exactly how rich are you? I thought back to all those family dinners. My younger sister Bella loudly paying the check and looking at me with pity. The Forbes article says $3.8 billion, but that's a conservative estimate. The real number is closer to 5. Chase made a sound like he was choking on a golf ball. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a board meeting. I'll see you at the reunion. I'm planning on making an entrance. I hung up. My assistant Sarah walked in. Miss Sterling, is everything set for the reunion? Yes, Sarah, the jet is fueled. The Rolls-Royce fleet is ready to pick up the family, and the venue has been updated to the private island per your request. Perfect. For 15 years, I played the role of the failure, the artist with her head in the clouds, the daughter who needed a reality check. But not this time. I thought back to the day it all started, the dinner that changed everything. Digital art isn't real art, Alex. My father slammed his hand on the table. NFTs are a scam. No one pays real money for JPEGs. I was 22, fresh out of college, full of fire. Actually, Dad, I just sold my first collection. I don't want to hear about your little hobby. He cut me off. Either you come work for the firm or you're on your own. No trust fund, no safety net. My mother patted my hand condescendingly. Sweetie, we just want stability for you. Chase smirked. Bella rolled her eyes. In that moment, I decided I wouldn't tell them about the $50,000. I wouldn't tell them about the tech companies sliding into my DMs. You're right, I stood up. I need to figure this out on my own. And I did. I moved into the cheapest apartment in Brooklyn. My family thought I was struggling. In reality, I was building an empire. Year 1, I worked 18-hour days. My Digital Dreams collection sold out in hours, netting $1.2 million, and I reinvested everything. Year 3, my net worth hit $100 million. But when I visited home, I wore thrift store clothes and drove a beater. Let me pay your rent this month, Mom would offer. No thanks, Mom, I'm fine. And I was fine. I was doing better than Dad's entire portfolio. The Forbes article dropped at 6 a.m. Headline, The Digital Art Revolution, How Alex Sterling Built a Multi-Billion-Dollar Empire in Secret. The cover photo was me, standing in front of my most successful piece, wearing a suit that cost more than Bella's annual salary. My phone blew up. The family group chat. Bella, is this a joke? 3.8 billion? Chase, I tried to warn you guys yesterday. Mom, Alex, please answer the phone. Dad, this must be a mistake. There's another Alex Sterling. I laughed and muted the chat. An hour later, my mother showed up in the lobby of my building. She looked perfectly put together, but her eyes were wild. Send her up, I told security. The private elevator opened directly into my penthouse. Mom stepped out and froze. She took in the floor-to-ceiling windows, the marble floors, the original Basquiat on the wall. Alex, she whispered, what is this? My home, Mom, my real home, not the studio apartment I keep to play the part for you guys. How long? 15 years. Why? She sank into a chair, looking suddenly frail. Why lie to us? I didn't lie. I just let you see what you wanted to see. You were so convinced I was a failure that you never bothered to look closer. I handed her a file. This is the investment deck I showed Dad 3 years ago. If he had given me the $1 million seed money I asked for, his share would be worth $100 million today. Her hands shook. Your father said, he said you were looking for a handout. I know, and you believed him. Tell me, Mom, in 15 years, did anyone in this family ever come to one of my gallery shows? Did anyone even Google my name? She looked down, silent. The reunion is in 2 days. It's being held at my private island in the Caribbean. Cars will pick you up. This time, Mom, I won't be the one sitting quietly while everyone brags about their mediocrity. The day of the reunion, the vibe at the private airfield was tense. 3 Rolls-Royces pulled up. Dad, Mom, Chase, Bella, and the extended family stepped out. They stared at the sleek black jet with Sterling Digital Empire painted in gold on the side. Welcome, everyone, I said from the top of the stairs, smiling. I trust the ride here was comfortable. Dad stepped forward, trying to regain his authority. Alex, this is unnecessary. We could have used the resort. That resort is too public, Dad. My island is more private. On the plane, Bella gasped at the Picasso hanging on the cabin wall. Is that real? Yep, bought it last year. Same time I bought the island. When we landed on my 300-acre paradise, everyone went silent. From the air, the helipad had my name, Alex Sterling, painted in massive letters. Giant LED screens around the island displayed my NFT collections with their sale prices: 10 million or 25 million, 50 million. Dinner was served in a glass-walled room overlooking the ocean. On every wall, I had framed the Forbes article. I didn't let them eat yet. "Sit," I said. "We need to talk." "Alex," Dad started, "I think we are all surprised." "Surprised?" I laughed. "Not angry? Not embarrassed?" "We didn't know," Mom said. "You didn't want to know." I raised my voice. "Every time I tried to talk about my work, you changed the subject. You were too busy pitying me." I pressed a button. A screen lowered from the ceiling. A timeline appeared. 2008. Dad says digital art is trash. Alex sells first collection, $50,000. 2015. Bella says, "At least let me buy you lunch, poor thing." Alex's net worth hits $500 million. 2020. Dad says, "We don't invest in internet pictures." Alex's company valued at $1 billion. Every insult, every dismissive comment. I remembered them all, I said, my voice trembling with 15 years of suppressed emotion. And I used every single one as fuel to build this empire. "Why hide it for so long?" Chase asked. "Because you all needed to learn a lesson. That success doesn't look just one way. That the child you wrote off as a failure is actually the one who out-earned the entire family combined." "You embarrassed me," Dad said, but his voice lacked its usual bite. "No, Dad. I made you proud. You were just too stubborn to see it." I clicked to the final slide. "This is my new platform launching next month. Conservative valuation is $10 billion. I'm showing you this now so that this time, no one can say they didn't know." The room was silent, just the sound of the ocean. Finally, Mom spoke up. "We are proud of you, Alex. We should have been proud a long time ago." "Thanks, Mom, but I didn't do this for your pride. I did it for me." That dinner, for the first time in 15 years, we talked like real people. No fake sympathy, no condescension. My dad, the man made of stone, held up his wine glass with a shaking hand. He looked around the island at the massive success his failure of a daughter had built. "I was wrong," he said quietly. "Not just about business, about everything. You didn't just succeed, Alex. You changed the world." Later that night, I found a handwritten note slid under my door. "I'm sorry I didn't see you sooner. Dad." I framed it and put it right next to the receipt for my first $50,000 sale. The next morning, breakfast on the beach was different. Chase was asking me for crypto advice. Bella wasn't bragging about her new handbag. She was asking how blockchain worked. I realized something. Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. And sometimes, the sweetest victory isn't revenge. It's the freedom to finally be exactly who you are. From the black sheep to the family billionaire, I learned that you should never let other people's narrow views define your worth. Just keep working in silence. Keep building. And when the time is right, let your success make so much noise that they can't ignore you anymore. What do you guys think? Was I too petty for hiding my wealth for 15 years? Or was it the perfect lesson for my judgmental family? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this secret billionaire story, smash that like button, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who needs a little motivation. Thanks for watching, and remember, don't let anyone tell you your dreams aren't real. They might just be the next billion-dollar idea. See you in the next video.